Okay, this is not a kid-friendly park. Even though you do see a few swings and a little thing over there with no kids, it's right next to an old people trailer park. And so they have claimed the park. Look at this. No skateboarding, no bicycles, no rollerblades, no having fun, no young, noisy children. Only old people sitting in the gazebo. That's all we want.
Southwest corner.
Okay. All right. We should be able to find it then. That's
Supposedly the oldest jail
well, that's what I heard, but there's nothing on the maps. Okay, thanks. We're gonna try it. We'll go have a look. And this is where we're going to try and find that old jail. Kind of a cute little town, very historic here. Trying to find Queen Street. Is this Queen Street? If it is, I'm having trouble getting through here. Queen's Line. I'm not sure if it's Queen Street, but it said Queen's Line. That's probably what he means. Alright, so it was kind of hard to find this place because it's just so darn small. But we found the community center, as the old guy told me. And we looked around, and then I saw a sign up here. And so this is going to be supposedly one of the oldest jails in Ontario. One of the first jails they had. And apparently it's still standing. So we're just going to have a look, see what the first jail in Ontario looked like. And you can see why I missed it so easy, because here it is. That is a jail. Can you believe it? Well, I guess things have changed in over 100 years, 130 years. I don't know if you can actually look inside or not, but obviously they've added windows and stuff. I can't see this being like this. Those bricks don't even look that old. I'm kind of surprised to see this as a jail. See, probably can't go in, can we? Nope, locked up tighter than a drum. Welcome to COVID years. Well, all it is there it is. If you look inside, I don't know if the camera can pick it up. There is an old jail door, the old iron door, and there's a little potbelly stove, and there's a turnstile here. I can't really find any much written information on it, but I guess this was one of the oldest jails. So I guess these windows, I don't know if they were probably barred at the time or something, but I guess just one constable was here, and that jail's enough to hold one person, but maybe they squeeze more in, who knows, right? Anyway, this is it. The oldest jail in Ontario. Too bad we can't go in. Everything's closed. And if you look, you could see another one of these gigantic trees in this area. So they really saved some of the old trees. And I was wrong on the other trees. It was not an oak tree, because now I see a real oak tree and I noticed the difference. No, these leaves are much longer. Those were some kind of a maple, but they had longer leaves. Different variety of maple. But as you can see, this is definitely an oak. And look at the size of it. So this oak tree is probably as old as this jail. This tree was always accompanying this little building. How about that, eh? Wonders never cease. So this is where I'm going to turn right. Don't need to go to the nature park right now. Swelter to death in the bush. Or whatever it is they got. They're probably not open anyway. So I'm looking for kind of like the main drag of Wallacestown. Historic church, 1827. Museum, which is probably closed. But we are in Wallacestown and we're looking for the main drag. I'm not sure where that main drag is. Maybe here. Yeah, this would be it. Number 8. I could use gas, but I think I'll hang on there. I don't think I need that one that much. That doesn't look like a great gas station. Well, they got enough to do me for quite a bit yet. That's a house museum. Can you go in there? What's that? Well, it looks like there's people wandering around there.
Yeah, but they're taking down like trucks and stuff. I think they work there.
It's supposed to be an old church is what I was looking for.
There was a sign that
Yeah, it said 3 kilometers, and then it said Anglican Church when I got to the T. I just noticed that museum. I didn't know if you wanted to see that or not, but we'll look for the church. This is it here. No place to turn around. Colonel Talbot, 250 years old. 9 to 4, Tuesday to Saturday. Okay.
It looks pretty brand new.
It's supposed to be 1827. There's the plaque right there. They're giving tours. I don't know if I want to bother with a tour, but so we have stopped at a historical church from 1827, which is about as old as it gets for Ontario. 1827, you got to really think about that. Was a long time ago. I mean, in 1927 it was 100 years old already. So it's almost 200 years old. It's getting there. In about 5 years it'll be 200 years old. Well, maybe a little more than that, but anyway. So I'll read the blurb to you about the church. This is a fine example of early Gothic revival architecture. This Anglican church lies in the midst of the original Talbot settlement. The nave was erected by the congregation in 1827. The belfry and tower was added in 1845 to accommodate a bell donated by the Earl of Galloway, adhered to the original style in 1849. Bishop John Strachan consecrated the church, and 2 years later the Reverend James Stewart became the first resident priest of the parish. Charlotte Simcoe, a daughter of the province's first lieutenant governor, gave St. Peter's a silver communion service in 1844. The nearby burying ground contains the graves of some of the area's earliest settlers, including that of Colonel Thomas Talbot, founder of the great Talbot settlement. So here we are in the old cemetery. Now we've been to a few old cemeteries in our day around Blue Mountains where we come from, but that area nobody started settling till the 1850s. This should be a much older graveyard, but we're going to try and find one of the oldest ones from, what's the oldest graveyards we found? Probably 1845, 1855, somewhere around there. These don't have any dates on them. I'll have to find the old section. It's probably back there. But this section here, I'm thinking it's probably new. And it looks like people that died in 33 to 41. Not too old by graveyard standards. Some of these graves for people died in the 70s and the 50s. I'm trying to find the old Talbot grave. There's a big tomb over here. Maybe it's something to do with it. But I'm thinking that looks like the old area there. This was the original grave mound. Okay, here we go. I think we're getting into the old section now. These are, look, this one, Edward Metham died at 58 years old in 1877, 1871. And these are some real original stones too. You can tell this, the old original limestone. This was died in 1863. So yeah, this is going way back. Still haven't found Talbot yet. These are the 1880s. 1876, at 74 years old. That means 1802 he was born. Moly moly, that's a guy going way back. 1853 he died at 49 years old. They never say what they died from. I wish they would. It's just be a real good history lesson. That's a pretty old one. Some of them are so old you can't even read them anymore. Like, I can't make out much on this at all. You'd have to get someone specialized in that. I think it says 1885 though. This one looks like it's gonna fall over pretty soon. And he died at 25 years old in 1898. Youngest son. You don't know what from. Could be anything from the flu to farm accident. You just don't know. Now I'm not sure if this is actually Thomas Talbot's grave or just in memory, because the plaque says in memory, but I think it's his grave. So he was the one who started the first settlements in this area. And he was an Irishman actually. And he led the army and the military. He is a veteran of the War of 1812. That's why this is here. And he started the Talbot settlement here on the shores of Lake Erie during those times. And when the Americans came, they devastated the settlement by, again, burning the mills. And I don't know if they burned and looted the towns or whatever, but because of the attacks of the Americans, the settlement got devastated. Anyway, Sir Talbot did a lot of things to get settlers in the area. He was granted tons and tons of land by the British Crown, I guess. And with that land, he was to give 50 acres at a time to each settler, and he got a reward of like 200 acres for every settler he set up on 50 acres of land. So he ended up with quite a bit of land. He died in 1853, so that is a pretty old gravestone right there. And if it's like what it looks like, then his body is actually there, because that's a tomb-style grave. So that was Sir Talbot. And I guess, I'm not sure if this was his family or not. You can't read the plaques anymore. You'd have to look, but they could be family of his. But this is the grave of Sir Talbot. One of the first pioneer settlers.
Another veteran.
Military veteran. This is another veteran, she says. Yeah, another veteran of the War of 1812. So it's amazing that a lot of them ended up here in this oldest part of the graveyard here, as you can tell by these old limestone graves. Usually when you find graves that are this old, they usually take down all the stones and they just put them in a little 10 foot by 10 foot area up by the highway, and they just squeeze them all together, and it's not actually where they were buried. But this still looks like an actual burial plot from the mid to late 1800s. And these are all the original settlers, or some of the original settlers. Some of these people may have been killed by Americans during that war. I don't know, but yeah, it goes back to those times, and these are settlers from those days. And you can see that some of these are pretty old, and some of them are so old they are original gravestones, original graves. So they haven't even been retouched. They've kept quite well for almost 200 years.